Hey guys, Bowie here, and this is things I learned with EG.Arteezy's Phantom Assassin in 7.10. Before I start this video, just wanted to tell you guys that I'll be casting GESC, and Arturito's team is the first game of the tournament. Tune in if you want a chill, analytical stream where at the end you can vote for which player you want me to analyze during the downtime of games. I hate just waiting for another game. Well, now I have something to do. I'll also be giving away another Arcana at the end of this month, so follow me on Twitch to understand how it will go down. The game starts with one of the most scary offlane pools to existence, the Enchantress offlane. She's so fast that a lot of the time supports can't really kill her and keep up with her, and by dragging the creeps long enough without actually connecting the creeps, Arthur is faced with a lose-lose situation. He has to right-click creeps, fighting his wave and tower at the same time. Note that even though there were more creeps in the tower, he stands close to the creep wave since the range creep gives more gold and it's easier to last hit since the tower is not attacking. There are some change-ups that Arthur performs to help him lane against Enchantress, and I want to talk about them. The first part of it is not buying a Talon Blade and also a Magic Wand and going straight to Aquila. It's not uncommon to see PAs when they're against range offlaners where they're taking too much harass, skilling Blur at level 2 or 3, but what they forget in the process is the reason PA is a good laner. This hero is all about aggression and harass, and what evasion doesn't help is harassing. Before we talk about aggression, look at this cool play that Arthur pulls off. He wants that range creeps, yes, but then the other melee creeps are too far away for him to get both. What he does, he walks towards Enchantress without pulling aggro. When he's about to break the aggro range from the melee creeps, he clicks on her to pull them towards himself while he gets the range CS, but the smart Enchantress gets the deny anyways. Beautiful play though. Another interesting decision he has is to snatch the 2 bounties. The lane is pretty pushed. Notice that there's another creep wave coming bot, so he decides to get the 2 bounties during that time, and he's trading 2 melee CS and experience for 130 gold, which seems like an okay trade. Usually the melee creeps give about 35 gold. Notice how aggressive he plays against Enchantress here. So I mentioned about not having a wand, and he gets an extra tangle because of it. If you go for that, you want to keep trading constantly, especially before Enchantress has more levels of untouchable. Note though that he did not commit Blink Strike on her. Enchantress is way too fast and most of the hits will be wasted, especially when your dagger is so low level. Even when CM commits here, he didn't use Blink Strike aggressively. But this time, he actually uses Enchantress wanting to get that CS to engage with Blink Strike. He abuses the turn rate and deals quite a lot of damage, especially now that Nature's Attendant got wasted. The reason Arthur goes Ekla first is that it's the perfect item against Enchantress if you're an agility carry. It gives you extra armor against the harass, it gives you mana regen to sustain the daggers, it gives you 19 damage, which synergizes with the dagger. You can spam more of it, and it also gives you 9 attack speed. I can see a lot of people trying to rush Phase Boots here to be able to chase Enchantress, but not only Phase Boots gives only 5 extra damage, it costs 400 extra gold, and it doesn't really synergize with Battle Fury, and we will talk more about it later. Later on, it's interesting to see how much Arthur holds on Blink Strike. Not only it's an escape in case Dire is hiding there, but he will be kited if he go for it anyways. So even though his attacks are super slow, he keeps on harassing Enchantress even though it seems pretty unproductive. He also buys 2 extra sets of tangles to keep harassing her time after time. This clip shows it pretty well since Arthur is always harassing Enchantress. She is sparing salves and being forced to use the heal defensively every time instead of using it aggressively to dive. It also burns her mana and makes her harass worse at level 6, unless she goes to base or shrines. Since Enchantress waits to get less hits, he keeps on trying to harass her as unproductive as it looks like, and this is one of the main differences between a top 100 player to something like an Ashen and below. The lane's not about farm, it's about pressure. Who wins the pressure battle will then have access to farm. Arthur though played so aggressive that Enchantress didn't even learn enchant and cannot really pressure that tower of the catapult because she was always at the limit of her HP and felt like, okay, I need to get 2 points in natures, I need to get more points in untouchable. He also lures the enemy Io to that lane, and look what happens. Arthur explodes the Io, and even with 3 allies there and Nature's Attendant down, he doesn't dive the Enchantress. He's super close to level 6, so he gets it first, and now he starts using Blink aggressively on her. Nature's Attendant gets used and he stops it, and it's pretty much an endless cycle of aggression. Arthur never stops playing like that. He's so committed to that he gets a ring of health in the secret shop instead of finishing threads, just so he can keep trading with her without being low enough to be gankable. I guess the important part of all of this is how he is still the top CS even though he played so aggressively the entire laning phase. For instance, look at this play. He engages on Enchantress, knows that it's very unlikely that he will get the kill, but he always pays attention to the creep wave. He gets the CS, then he waits until that creep is low enough to get the CS, harass some more. As he hides, he wastes the duration of the heal to win, to engage one more time, and he rarely loses any CS because he starts the harass when the creeps are full HP or when the enemy creep wave is pushing stronger, so his creeps are dying faster. He pushes the wave pretty aggressively there, and to fix it, we see a nice play. He blink strikes to get to those small creeps faster, and he just single pulls and kills the creeps as fast as possible. This only delays the creep wave without hurting his creeps too much, ultimately balancing the equilibrium and giving him the chance to be aggressive again. They finally burst Enchantress when Arthur completes his strats and gets level 7. Pay attention how he plays this. With level 4 dagger, you do have enough slow duration to use blink strike, so he commits it straight away and they get the kill. As Enchantress respawn, she TP's top, so note how Arthur turned his Ectala on because he knows he can pressure the tower. Something I didn't mention up to this point is him going treads and also getting points in evasion. Usually if you're playing the Desolator style, you'll be fighting way more often, which means that having the ability to cast more blink strikes is better. If you add the fact that Arthur is going Battle Fury and is also against an Enchantress, maxing the passive seems like a way better idea since you can farm camps without losing HP and Ancients later while also being quite healthy. And since he still knows that Enchantress has no TP and pretty much everyone is showing and fighting top, he keeps the pressure to the tier 2. A lot of low MMR players will be afraid of dying since they want to finish their Battle Fury as fast as possible, while the map pressure and tower damage is way more important than any power spike item-wise, especially in a situation like where he knows actually where everyone is. The extra evasion also helps him tank some tower hits so that the catapult doesn't die here, and he's able to fully utilize his vision to damage and take the tier 2 down. He tanks a little bit more of tower damage thanks to evasion, gets every single last hit, and I really like his decision of going Demon Edge. When you don't max blink strike, you rarely run out of mana. Notice that before he was heading to the tier 2, he considers going to the side shop, and I feel like maybe he wanted to buy a TP or maybe the Void Stone, but he saves up for the Demon Edge, gets the tower last hit, Demon Edge, and can now farm faster towards the Battle Fury. Not only that, during the entire fight top, Dire was not able to get the tower, so he buys a TP here and engages with his team. Io relocates the gyro, and pay attention to how Arteezy reacts to his passive buff icon. As soon as Io and gyro relocate, the icon is back to normal, but then it fades away, and as soon as that happens, he starts diving. He knows that Io and gyro won't be back for a while, so this is an opportunity for him to get a kill, and indeed, Disruptor was hiding. By having that hindsight, he doesn't get trapped in the Static Storm, his dagger kills Io, and that's a double for the Canadian. It's also worth noting that the norm, when you play Battle Fury PA, is getting HP talent instead of damage, just because you also go Dazzle on top of it, but if you feel like you're playing a very easy PA game, you can try to get the damage. It's just a little bit greedier. We see another great use of Blur as an ability. Arthur was going to farm Dire jungle, fights Enchantress here. As he disengages, he sees Io farming top, and he considers whether he should go or not. Note that the distance between Arthur and Io doesn't change too much, but suddenly the blur icon changes. Io is getting away from him and it's still off, which means that the enemies are around, and indeed they were. This guarantees that he doesn't sack his life for nothing, and he TPs to the bottom shrine to farm some ancients. Arthur gets lucky. While Dire dives their tier 2, Tiny took tier 2 top, and PA finds a double damage with vision of every Dire hero playing aggressively, giving him a free roll shot. Since he has Aegis, note that he buys the Mithril Hammer instead of Ogre Club for his BKB, and with Vision of DK Shadow Blading, pay attention to what happens. He hides himself in the trees behind Tiny, he wastes the Static Storm being committed and jumps Disruptor since he is the one that could glimpse him back. And for now, he just disengages since Viper was not there to follow, but pretty nice play, as a PA waiting for the right time to blink is essential, especially when you don't have BKB. No point in wasting the Aegis till it's pretty fresh. They finally smoke afterwards with the Aegis and pay attention to the fight. One of PA's underrated assets is when you're smoked, being able to detect enemies without breaking your smoke at daytime unless they are smoked themselves or invisible. Notice that the passive is still active, smoke is still on, and they see a kinetic field. The smoke breaks and the passive is still on, and this is a clear sign of an invisible hero around. It feels like Arthur didn't notice that, and while they go for the high ground ward, he gets initiated by the Silver Edge DK. A lot of times, you want to save your BKB to your second life, but considering how green the fight started for them, with two allies pretty much dying during Dragon Tail, popping BKB is actually good, because if he's the only one left after the Aegis, BKB will not save him at all, especially with Enchantress. We see him jumping Disruptor instantly, and then DK since he's under break. Without BKB, Io is the easiest target. And notice how even though he has Aegis, he doesn't just dive to gyro here. A lot of players care way less about their lives when they have Aegises, and if he died there, I'm pretty sure CM and Viper would die during the respawn timer, and he will be next since he has no BKB. Since he waits to jump Enchantress later, he gets another kill before falling, and without BKB, gyro is an easy but very fast target. If those Ancients were any other creatures, we would probably see Arturito blinking striking them to have range for the dagger, but he gets afraid of being trapped and turned around, so he just disengages. I really like how Arteezy closes this game out, and it's all about building Nullifier on PA against heroes that have no escapes. As long as you initiate outside of vision, or like in this case with smoke, it is more effective than Abyssal against a lot of cores, unless they have a blink ability. It also gives you way more damage, and it costs almost 2k less gold. Because of the Nullifier here, DK dies without a buyback. That pickoff propels them towards this push, and thanks to a beautiful play by Tiny, where Arteezy didn't nullify the toss gyro, they start a great but awkward fight. Gyro ends up dying without a buyback. He scouts, they are able to scout Roshan because of Tusk, Io is next to fall, and they finally get their Rosh. The end of the game is a little bit underwhelming, but we can still see the power of Nullifier. First of all, the goal difference between teams is definitely negligible, especially considering that they just got Roshan, but DK gets picked off by Viper here. Since they have Aegis, they get 2 lanes of barracks, but as they disengage, DK is about to respawn and Tusk gets glimpsed. Pay attention how the Nullifier shreds through Gyro, and the fact that PA has such an instant gap closer makes it quite hard to predict, which means that he just dies without buyback here. By the way guys, just wanted to mention something. I do feel like Nullifier can be pretty bad on PA just because she's very mana hungry, but when you go for the Ekla plus Battle Fury, you do have some mana regen. Even though they nerfed the mana cost on Nullifier, I still feel like it's pretty expensive, and there's a reason why you see Nullifier and Orchid paired so much. But this game against those cores, it really worked out. As of always guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want more Arturito videos and things I learned in general, please suggest heroes and players down below. Also don't forget to like the video or subscribe if you still did not. This video is sponsored by Pvgna, and they have a huge library of videos that will help you develop Dota understanding so that you can grow as a player and get MMR. A lot of this week, last week, and following week videos will have extended versions, so if you're interested, check the link down below. And that's it guys, hope you had a good one. Bye!